And we're back.
That's right.
Welcome
back.
To Quiet
In the back.
I'm your host, Patrick William.
And I am also a host, Austin Jenny.
And we are the only film review podcast on the internet that you should be watching.
Yes.
And listening to.
In the world, in fact.
None other exists. Quiet in the Back, Supremacy returns.
That's right.
You may notice we are in a different setup.
Yes, sort of different situation going on in here.
Yeah, I'm playing a show this weekend, and I've got my studio converted into more of like a performance room right now. Be a big pain to tear it all down and set up for this, so we're recording in the living room.
Yeah, probably will be next week too.
Yeah, because I'm lazy and I won't get it fixed.
Yeah, fuck it.
In time.
Yeah, it's cool.
So we're in the living room. It's all good. Got
Looks
our
good.
cameras. We got our microphones.
Yeah.
And we've got an interesting movie this week.
Yeah, no kidding. The little 1994 movie Clerks.
It is the 90s as fuck in this movie.
It's crazy, dude. Serious throwbacks, man. I expected it, but I wasn't ready for wow.
Yeah. What is the name of this director? Why am I blanking?
Kevin
Smith.
Yeah.
Yes. You've seen him in his own movies as Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Very sort of this movie was made for no money.
Yes. An insanely low amount of money. I actually looked it up. It was $27,000.
Yeah, nothing.
Yes, they filmed it in the store that he worked at for real at nighttime. And so he would work from 6 in the morning till 11 at night, and then they would do all of their shooting until 4 a.m.
That's crazy.
Every night, and they did it in 21 days.
That's crazy.
Dude, badass. And then it also goes to mention this movie's in black and white, and that is because of their lack of proper lighting. They had all sorts of crazy lights going on in there.
Right.
Yellows and all sorts of shit.
I was going to say a lot of black and white choices, the reason to go for black and white, a lot of film students do that, and people associate that with being artsy because you're in film school.
Yeah.
And that's not it. It's not artsy.
No,
it's very practical. When you shoot in black and white, you don't have to worry about colors.
Yeah.
And it sounds obvious, but that means wardrobe. It means lighting. You don't need to get your values balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it cut them. It probably saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars or something.
So many hours of effort too.
Yeah.
And you don't need to how Wes Anderson is known for his compositions, and everything is so coordinated and synchronized. And the color palette is so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. But when you shoot in black and white, you can just throw that shit out the window.
Gone. There goes 5,000 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever,
Now you can just focus on story and acting.
Yes.
And that's what this movie is.
Yes. And it is a simple movie. It is very much so a slice of life movie.
Yeah.
Not that much happens,
Right. Almost nothing. It's just one day in these people's lives from waking up to going to bed. I actually just read a book like that. It's called A Day in the Life of Ivan something Russian. Hard to say. But it's literally the whole book is a single day.
Oh, that sounds super
Very interesting way to tell a story.
Yeah.
Because you can't really rely on plots too much.
No, yeah. It has to be so much more about just the ideas behind what's going on throughout that day.
Yeah, just the character. It's like a character study, I guess. But you've just got, this young guy, he wakes up to, what is his phone ringing?
I think so, yeah.
He's dead asleep. His phone's ringing too early, and he's not supposed to work that day. And his boss calls him in to open the convenience store that he works in. And he doesn't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And he goes in.
He has a lot of problems with just making decisions.
For sure.
That's one of the central themes, honestly, in this. His indecisiveness is consistent. But yeah, he goes in.
Yeah. He just can't stick up for himself. And he doesn't have anything better to do, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure it's and I've been there too. Sometimes might as well go make money.
Yeah,
I guess.
But yeah, this is a comedy that is not really full of jokes per se.
Yeah.
It's just comedic in the things that are happening, but it's not like a jokey comedy. It's more like you said, a slice of life. And it's like very dialogue driven, full of like witticisms.
Yeah. Dry.
Very dry and Canadian style of humor.
Fucking vulgar too. There's like, it's pretty gross shit that happens in this movie.
Yeah. A lot of porn use.
Yeah.
I just found that really interesting because in the year 2025, and pretty much every year since I've been in like high school and above, porn is just ubiquitous.
Extremely.
It's so common and easy to access that I don't think twice about it if I want to look at some porn. It's just there.
Yeah, it's always available, no matter what. You didn't have to, there's no going to the movie shop and going behind the curtain wall to go see, or having someone special order your
Ordering
specific
the VHSs.
porn. Dude, that's so funny with the lady and her kid.
Yeah, there's like a mom and a daughter standing in front of him, and they just want to order this kid's movie. And so he's on the phone with the distributor. And he's like, yeah, I'm ordering a few movies right now. So y'all take Ass Blasters 5000, Anal MILFs.
Oh, God.
He lists off like 15 of the raunchiest
Pearl white
sounding.
cum on black cocks or something crazy, dude.
Just hardcore porn.
Yeah, like he lists like 16 or 17 of them, and then he's like, oh, and what was your movie again? Happy Paws?
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's the kind of humor that this movie is. It's not like a joke. It's just it's a setup.
Yeah.
And then it's like that, like vulgar comedy mixed with like cultural commentary, I guess, like cultural insights and commentary.
Yeah.
From Kevin Smith, obviously.
Yeah, he's a sage of it all. He's the wise stoned sage. You got any quotes from him?
No quotes.
Yeah.
I just thought the first thing I wrote in my notes, I thought it was very funny how like the second he gets to work, the first customer in is like this anti-smoking guy. And smoking was like, that's another thing like the porn. It's like another issue that seems like out of time for me.
Very much so.
People like our age and younger, really, it's way less common for us to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, especially now. Like maybe when I was like, 16, and before vapes were like just everywhere all the time.
But the DARE program was like actually very successful in getting people to understand like lung cancer and lip cancer and showing you the negative effects. That like public relations campaign of the 90s like really worked in a lot of ways, mostly because it's all true.
Yes.
It's not just
very
like
helpful.
Propaganda can work when it's not true, but that was all true. Like the cancer stuff is all real. So like people stopped smoking, statistically speaking, like it's barely around anymore.
Yeah, especially like cigarettes for sure. But even vaping, I mean, it's still significantly less than if you go to the 80s.
Yeah,
everyone
80s
had
and
a fucking
90s,
cigarette
dude,
in their mouth.
It was so expected and like cool and just normalized. And
yeah,
the first scene of this movie, once he's in the store, this guy comes in, he's the anti-smoking guy, and he's like pushing the gum instead.
Yeah.
And then the second customer comes in and tries to order cigarettes, and he gets into this whole debate with him. And he pulls out of his bag, he's got a human lung.
Yeah.
He's like, he puts like latex gloves on. It's so crazy that he just has that prop, and he's like propagandizing everyone in the store to be like pro gum, anti-cigarettes.
Yeah.
And after like a couple scenes, like it keeps escalating. Now there's like a group of people, and he's like almost like a preacher with like a pulpit. He's like proselytizing the group
with his fucking lung.
But it comes out that he works for the gum company, and it's a completely disingenuous fraud that we're seeing.
Yep. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit if you smoke.
Yeah, he's just paid.
Yep. Oh, and that's funny. Like that is quality humor. I mean, it is how a lot of propaganda goes too, it's
Yeah.
like it's half the time it's just someone else trying to make a buck being like, no, fuck that stuff, it's so bad for you.
Yeah.
Buy my gum.
Even when it's true,
Yeah.
there's always someone behind it trying to spin it to make their own side hustle, their own profit.
Yep. Let's
And
go.
Kevin Smith is nothing if not cynical and sharp-minded, so he calls that out like right away.
Yeah.
The whole like smoking and anti-smoking grift of the 90s. Scene one.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting way to start the movie for sure.
Yeah, it's very much like an issues-driven script.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
It's like basically just the movie is almost acting as like a platform for Kevin Smith to like express his opinions about society at the time.
And that's actually like pretty easy to do within this slice of life format that we're in. Because if it was more like plot driven, then you'd have to have like all these like smaller, like, not action based, but just like a lot of shit would have to happen to explain that idea.
Exactly.
So much shit. But instead, they're just having a conversation about it, and boom, your point's driven home.
And if you're plot driven, it's like, well, now we have to have this gum salesman guy interact in the store during some other scene that's also happening. And it's like, that's distracting. People will be like, what is this scene in the middle of the movie? Like, can you imagine if that scene just took place during like Superbad?
No.
While they're at the register trying to get the alcohol.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you derailing the movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
But because this movie literally exists just to be people in a convenience store having a day, it makes perfect sense. You don't question it at all.
Yeah. No, super smart, super intelligent writing as far as it goes.
I think I do have a criticism of the sort of writing, I guess, but it's not that it's not smart. But I do think that the pacing is like very fast and snappy, and it, to be fair, it works for the movie.
Yeah.
But I was very aware that I was like watching like movie writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like human beings don't talk that fast, and they're not that witty.
No, they're not. They're not so quick on their feet, and and interactions don't happen that fast. Everything was it was clearly planned.
It's very like paced and efficient, and the lines are coming like one after the other.
Yeah.
And they're all very like sharp and witty, and like normally it takes people like 5 seconds to 10 seconds to come up with that like sort of witty comment, if they can do it at all.
Exactly.
And in this movie, everyone's got one all the time.
Yeah, and like so they're bangers. They're funny.
Yeah.
But it's like okay, that does take the realism out of it a little bit.
A little.
Yeah. But that's not even like, I agree with you fully, but it's not like a harsh critique for me really, because it still has me chuckling the whole time, and I do it is a comedy,
Yeah. And I just embrace the fact that it's a style choice, and we're watching media, right? Once you can accept that it's not real life, it's not meant to be real life, it's an act. Great, it's working.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, very clever stuff.
It's so impressive, honestly, man. It's really inspiring to see that he was able to do that with $27,000.
For real.
Talk
about like lighting a fire under the ass of like an independent creator.
Yeah.
Like ourselves. It really shows. This is another one of those things that I think I said this about 28 Days Later. But it really removes all excuses from the independent creator. Where you're like, oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have actors.
Money's not going to do it.
I don't have a location.
Yeah.
Film where you work.
Yeah.
Sneak in after hours.
Yeah, like straight up.
Go make a movie in the park. Like there's a way to write something that fits the parameters of your constraints.
Yeah, trespass if you need to. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. Make your shit.
Let's go do like a slice of life movie in the burned down hoo-ha lot. Like, who cares? Man?
Yeah.
Like, it's all comes down to writing is the thing.
Yeah. The burned down hoo-ha lot.
I think that would be a banger setting.
It would, dude. It'd be a creepy ass setting. Honestly, get it at night, dude.
Two vagrant street rats like having various interactions and conversations while like doing drugs in the hoo-ha. Like, that's a movie.
That is for sure a movie.
He decides at one point to just like have a conversation with his girlfriend behind the counter and fully not engage the customer base. And he just puts a jar, like a basket with various denominations of money on it. And it's just the honesty system for change. That's crazy.
That is so crazy. And I can't remember. Were people honest?
I don't think it ever showed anyone steal.
Okay, yeah. I love the little sign that says right next to their thing that says, if you plan on stealing, let us know. Thanks.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's like the kind of humor that you really only get by actually working at a convenience store, right?
Yeah, I mean, that goes for a lot of the smaller customer interactions. It's like, it's clear that he has dealt with customers just like that. Just some of the stupidity, just like the general, just like no fucking idea what's going on around you. I can't remember. The one right before they get into the argument, the about all the dicks, the 37 dicks with Snowball, whatever his name is. That guy is just either so high or just I don't know, man. But when he walks in there, just the way he talks, it's like he's like not even there,
right?
Like whatsoever.
Yeah, that sort of like zoned out, like Cali surfer, like type of personality is very prevalent in the 90s. I think it was very like trendy and cool to be like a little bit
checked out,
like I don't care, like, whatever.
And so is this in, it's probably in LA, right? I can't remember if there was like an actual city setting.
I think it's East Coast.
Is it? Okay.
And it might even be Canada.
Oh, yeah, you said Canada.
Well, I think Kevin Smith is Canadian, but they could be just from like upstate New York or like Maine or something. Yeah. It's definitely like somewhere where hockey is culturally relevant.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, man, I wish I knew. Yeah. I do think it is stated in the movie where they are. I think it's actually like relevant and it comes up because they drive somewhere.
Yeah, I can't remember. Is that for the funeral?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty infamous scene. We should probably get it out of the way.
Which one?
The dead dude
getting fucked.
Yeah, getting fucked. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, so
and it takes some context too. So Dante is in a relationship, right?
Yes.
With Veronica.
He has a girlfriend.
I think her name is or something.
Is a really good woman and really like he should want her more than he wants her.
Yes, but an old flame, Caitlin, has moved back into town, and he sees her, and he's in his head about it, can't make a decision on like who he wants and all this shit.
They've been talking on the phone, long distance for the last couple weeks.
Scummy too,
which is emotional cheating for the record,
for sure. 100%. You don't talk on the phone. You have a girlfriend though.
Like cheating isn't only physical. If you have an emotional relationship with someone other than your significant other, they need to know about it. That's got to be above the boards.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't just be having long, like long distance phone calls with your ex.
Yeah, especially like at night and stuff, bro. Yeah, no way. You're out of here.
Red flag.
Out of here.
Play.
That's a red card. But so
she comes back to town and she comes to visit him.
Yeah.
And he like asks her out and she accepts that they're going to go on a date that night. And she gets all excited because she was playing hard to get a little bit, but really she did want the date. And I think what happens is like she leaves to go get ready and comes back and goes to the bathroom.
Yeah.
She finds, so the lights aren't working.
Yeah.
It's perfectly dark in there. And she finds a person.
Yeah, a human.
With a erection. And she assumes it's Dante.
Yeah, waiting for her in the bathroom for some fun freaky sex shit.
Doing like a freaky role play scenario thing.
Yeah.
Because he won't even talk. He didn't even talk to me. It was so hot. He just let me do everything.
It was the best sex of my life. In this bathroom, she finds a body. Well, she finds a person and she fucks that person because he has a very erect penis. And she comes out and isn't Dante out there?
Dante is out there already. She's like, how'd you get here so fast? Like, we just finished. He's completely clueless. Slowly it dawns on her that she did not just have sex with the person she thinks she did. And it's a dead body.
Yeah, it's an old man who went into the bathroom to jerk off to a porno.
And from earlier scenes before.
Yeah, and he has a heart attack and dies in there with an erection, and it stays, and she fucks him.
Yeah, the coroner is talking about how if you die with an erection, the rigor mortis can like can like lock the blood in, and you can maintain an erection for like over an hour after death and stuff like that.
Man,
yeah,
that's pretty dark.
So she gets completely traumatized.
Yeah,
it ruins the dates. And it's very gross.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty rough. That is some pretty dark and vulgar humor, to say the least.
It's not a movie where you expect necrophilia.
No, definitely not. And also I just like, so I saw this movie when I was like a kid, which is not great, but you know, it is what it is. Like probably 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And it just went right over my head. I just didn't really understand what was going on. I was like, there's a lot of talking and cussing, you know?
When I watched this movie as a kid, I just got bored because it's all dialogue and it's black and white. I was like, I want to watch Pulp Fiction again.
Yeah, right.
Reservoir Dogs. Turn this off.
Yes. But yeah, no, necrophilia was not on my bucket list for this one.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was coming. For sure.
It's pretty funny. It's a pretty ballsy thing to include in your movie. In your like first debut independent movie.
Yeah, bro.
It's decisions like that are why Kevin Smith became successful though.
Yeah.
He was always willing to like go there.
Yeah. He also said in an interview that the only reason that he put himself in the movie is so that if it failed, he could look at himself and point and be like, this is why. Which I love that. He also sold all of his comic books that he had from a kid, his entire like college savings and like I think his car or something to pay for this movie, to bankroll it.
Dope.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let's start writing our first movie, Austin.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually already have the premise.
Yeah.
It's a workplace comedy horror.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Called Always Be Closing. We both work in a restaurant, so that's all you're going to get today.
Yep, Always Be Closing.
I'm working on it. It's good.
Nightmare. Oh, man.
So there's a couple interesting things in this movie. Some candid conversation about like gender roles and the value that the different genders bring to relationships. They have like that long conversation where she asks him how many partners he's had. Yeah. And he says like, she's only had sex with like 3 guys. Yeah. And he's had like 12 partners. And she's like a little upset, right? Yeah. It's like, that's too many. I can't believe you. But then he asks her like, well, what about other stuff? Like, and they get onto blowjobs.
Well, that's right after the snowball conversation. He comes in and it's his dick that she did that too. Yeah.
It's a guy named Snowball. Yeah. But it comes out that she's sucked like 37 dicks or something like that.
36. He's 37.
He's number 36 or 37. And to him, this is like way more disgusting. And he can't get over it. First of all, it's again very 90s. Yeah. People in the 90s were like hung up on oral sex in a way that people today just aren't.
Yeah, 100%.
But he like thinks it's really gross that like he kisses her and he's getting like,
yeah, I'm tasting 36 dicks.
The residue remains of like every dick you've ever sucked.
Which is just so stupid. Like,
I'm trying to remember like the serious part of the conversation though, because they get into something real. That's just obviously like superficial sex stuff. But they're talking about like the role. Oh yeah, they're talking about the role that the different genders bring to sex. And she was saying something along the lines of like, well, it's kind of like a privilege for a guy to even be able to have sex with a woman. You know, you should be so lucky. Yeah. And then he rebuttals that like all a woman has to do is be there and get fucked. Yeah. He's like, I'm the one that has to like do all the work, know about your G-spot, like figure out all the ways that are very specific to you to make you orgasm. and do all of that without me orgasming. And he was like laying out all the ways where it's actually much more impressive what a man does during sex. And then it's just really funny.
Yeah.
I don't think there was some sort of deep takeaway, but you know, presumably you're on a date when you go to the movie theaters most of the time. Like you're in there with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and then you have to sit through this scene and you're going to be arguing about it, right? Like after the movie.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith is like fucking with the audience. He's like fucking with your sense of comfort in your own relationship.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that provided some uncomfortable conversations for some people.
It's very provocative.
It really is.
Especially for a culture which is a bit more sexually prude than our culture today.
A bit more, you know.
A bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I mean that's another chance, you know. It's like that could have genuinely upset quite a few people. A lot of the sexuality in this movie could have genuinely upset quite a few people. And I'm surprised that it was received so well, I suppose. I guess it's not received so well by all people. It is considered somewhat of a cult classic.
Yeah, I didn't do any research, but a $27,000 budget, like this film was not in theaters, right?
No. Right?
I said theater, but like that's hypothetical.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think so.
I assume it wasn't.
How could you? You know, maybe it like showed in a theater.
He could have sold it to some sort of company, got a distribution deal.
Yeah.
Something, but
yeah.
I mean, this is a small movie. It's like an indie movie before indie movies were like cool. Mm-hmm. This is like indie by necessity.
Yeah, true. Huh. Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that, whether or not it was in theater. I didn't see that at all either when I was doing research. Huh. Nonetheless.
Yeah. But, I mean, he got into theaters. He did, one of his movies in the 90s had, like, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and,
Selma Hayek, baby, let's go.
Yeah, it has,
of course,
like, Selma Hayek
and shit.
and Ben Affleck and, yeah, you dirty dog.
Shut up. She's so hot.
So, Kevin Smith gets A-listers off of the strength of this movie.
Yeah.
And what he builds with like Jay and Silent Bob,
which are hilarious.
Yeah,
they're specific kind of funny, you know, it's just silly stoner movies, but they are very funny as far as it goes.
Jay is pretty funny in this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
He's the like goofy drug dealer who hangs out in front of the convenience stores just selling weed.
Yeah, and I love that he knows what he is. You know?
For sure,
and that's like kind of a central theme about this whole thing too, because Dante's so unsure with his future and his life and his decisions that he makes, but Jay knows. Jay and Bob, both they are rock solid in their beliefs and their life.
Jay is fine being a little petty drug dealer and he's having fun with it. I think he says something like his life motto is shit or get off the pot. Says something like that to Dante. Because Dante's always like second guessing everything and he can't make a decision, which is causing him to not be able to move forward with important things in his life.
Yeah, like staying with Veronica and therefore
going to school or like pursuing anything real. That's why he's just working in a convenience store day after day and he's a little depressed because he's just got nothing going.
Yeah.
And he can't make a decision. And meanwhile, this like little drug dealer guy is like having a good time with his life because he knows like what phase of his life he's in. He's accepted where he's at right now.
Yeah, just having fun. I love the conversation about the girlfriends that Jay and Bob have with Dante. They're like talking about why he can't decide about which girlfriend he wants and stuff like that. And then right at the end, after Jay leaves, he kind of like, I don't know, tosses some like cuss words and shit at him. But Bob like sticks around for a second. He's like, you know, man, there's a lot of pretty girls out there. Most of them just cheat on you. When one brings you lasagna, you keep her around.
Yeah, it's his first line of dialogue in the movie. It's like, there's a lot of pretty girls out there. They don't all bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you.
Yeah, no, that's fucking...
And that's so true because 100%. Veronica is like such a good girlfriend to him. She comes to work to hang out with him. They just talk. She does favors for him.
Bring some food. And
not to get anything, just because she cares about him.
Yeah.
She's like, he just needs her support, and she's like helping him out.
Yeah.
And then he treats her like shit.
Yeah.
Takes her for granted.
emotionally and tries to physically cheat on her. Kind of, you know.
And he asks a girl out.
Yeah. That's so crazy. Yeah.
By the end of the movie, I mean, ultimately this movie is a love story. That's what this movie is. It's like a love story that takes a long time to do a very small thing and is disguised as a comedy. But it's really just a movie where he needs to realize that he loves his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And commit to her.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal here.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that, like, you know, that you would ever have a girlfriend if you don't know, like, that you want to commit to her or not. You know, I guess, I don't know. I feel like dating was also probably a little bit looser in the 90s. To an extent.
Dating is weird.
It really is.
The concept of dating is weird.
Yeah.
Like, in my grandparents' era,
it was like courtship.
Dating was like a non-committal thing that you do to test out different possible partners.
Yeah.
You go to the movies, you go to dinner, and then you date someone else the next week. And then the next week you go on a different date. And like high schoolers are like dating each other. Doesn't mean they're all fucking.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably say that most weren't.
Right.
You know, that was considered pretty bad if you were.
Some were, but
I'm sure were.
Culturally, it wasn't acceptable.
Yeah, yeah.
But like dating was like an audition process, right? Where you're like, well, try this guy for a couple weeks. Try this guy for a couple weeks. It's not necessarily the process of actually being in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's like a secondary, like additional thing that, okay, now we're done dating.
Now we're in a relationship. Yeah. Nowadays, it's dating is up until engagement.
Right. Like people just use the word dating to mean being in a relationship.
Yeah.
And that's just objectively like not what it is.
Yeah. You're not dating. Dating, it's.
I mean, you can go on it. Like I date my wife.
Yeah.
But that's like because we're going on a date and it's like romantic to do that. But like technically we're not dating anymore. Like
it's just some strange terminology mixed with like old customs.
Yeah, but certainly what Dante was doing was cheating.
Cheating, yes.
Because he was in a relationship.
Yes.
He was not just
if you're in a relationship, you don't go on dates with other people.
You don't audition other relationships.
Oh.
So it was crazy to me that he got that fine.
Yeah, well.
So he's towards the end of the movie, a guy comes in. He's like a government worker, like an inspector or something. And he's like, were you working between the hours of 4 and 5 p.m. today? And he says yes. And the guy just gives him a ticket for like $500.
Yeah.
Which that's in the 90s too.
That's so much money in the 90s.
And the reason is because someone sold an underage kid a pack of cigarettes and like someone else like snitched. And it happened between the hours of 4 and 5. Really, it was like the other guy that works there in the movie store next door.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that. And he just like
friend Randall. We don't even talk about Randall really.
That guy's pretty funny too.
Yeah.
But the guy just gives him this ticket. And it kind of blew my mind that it was like even legally possible for this to happen this way. No evidence.
Nothing.
Right? There was no like criminal process or anything. I guess you could take it to a court.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Try and appeal.
That would happen later. But like the idea that you could just get a $500 ticket for someone else saying that you sold a kid cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then there's no evidence. There's no camera. He hasn't like interviewed anybody else. Yeah. He didn't even ask for your own side of the story.
I mean, it's just absurd. It really is.
And he's like, all right, you got to pay this by the end of the week.
Yeah, and that stresses him out.
What the fuck?
Fucking $500, dude.
Watching him get that ticket made me so mad.
There's no due process.
Where's the evidence? Seriously, I was upset.
That's funny as fuck.
Title does not dictate behavior. People choose their own behavior.
Yeah.
That was a big philosophical conversation between Randall and Dante. I forget what prompts the conversation.
Yeah.
I think it's because Randall like spits at a customer.
Something like that. Yeah.
He like he splashes like water or something at a rude customer.
Mm-hmm.
And Dante like doesn't believe that he should do that because, they're the clerks.
Yeah.
And that's not what a clerk does. And they get into this whole like sort of philosophical inquiry as to what should guide a person's behavior, like the role that society has assigned you or how you actually feel and what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
And Randall is always going to just do what he actually wants to do. He's always going to say what he actually wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck this job. If they don't like it, they can fire me.
Yeah.
Right. And then Dante is always on the other side of that coin. He's like, well, no, I'm not supposed to open up, but I'm the clerk, so I have to. It's like, who says you have to?
Yeah.
Right. You can say no.
Yeah.
but Dante can't.
Yeah. I mean, it is an interesting question. I mean, it's more so you should probably like in reality balance that.
Well, and I think it depends a lot on what your title is.
Of course.
Some are not
circumstantial. Yeah.
Like I would say if we're having a conversation about doctors and soldiers and people of that nature.
The president.
Right.
Yeah.
45, 47. If your title is like important as hell, you should probably modify your behavior considerably to like fulfill the duties and roles assigned to you by society.
Yeah, expectations. Yeah,
I do want like my police officers and doctors and military to like obey the sort of like parameters.
Firefighters. I mean, they hopefully are fighting the fires and not arsonists.
But these convenience store clerks,
whatever.
Come on. Like there's a time and a place for blind obedience, right?
It's not the
your job's not that important.
Yeah, it's not that important, and you're also just probably not being paid that well. So it's also like a double whammy. Like, why the fuck? Yeah. Who cares? Who cares? Sell the kids some cigarettes. I say that
all the time. I don't get paid enough to care about that or think about that. I just work here. Like, there's just levels to that shit. And you got to strike a balance to maintain your own sanity sometimes.
Absolutely.
Especially in a job where people are treating you like shit.
Yeah. So any customer service job really
right?
And it's hard to not react. There's been a couple instances in my life where I just let that go. And like I reacted the way I wanted to a customer, and it generally doesn't work out very well.
Yeah.
But it can be very satisfying for you emotionally and physically. You know
I've done that a couple times. I try to keep it professional, but
same. Like it's like like a handful. I can remember most of them, which is like I think literally like 4 or 5 times.
I remember a guy was asking me, we were busy as hell rolling sushi, and he was asking me like how much we can roll, how fast can we roll, how much will we roll tonight?
Yeah, I remember.
And I just looked at him. I was like, it depends. Am I rolling with somebody asking me a bunch of questions the whole night, or am I just
rolling?
Am I just doing my job? I said it with a smile, and I think I said it in like an amicable, like sort of comedic way. Like it didn't come across as mean or rude, but it still sort of like disrupted the guy.
Yeah,
like,
he was like, not ready.
He was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Like, I'll kind of back off.
Yeah, and and a lot of the time, I mean, they're probably just not even thinking about it.
Right.
He's probably genuinely curious and stuff like that, but they're just not putting themselves in your shoes whatsoever.
No,
it's like
he's half drunk just watching me work.
Yeah, and he's eating on a Saturday night. He's just out there.
He's having a good time.
Yeah. We don't get Saturday nights. Not our folks.
Are ass kickers.
Yeah, dude. No, I feel that. I've had a couple times, Subway specifically for my first job. Had some terrible customers at Subway, man. I remember this one old mean lady who was just mean every time, and I finally had to ban her from the store. Yeah, and that felt good. I was 14, dude.
You're banned.
Yeah, I was like, I literally halfway through a sandwich just took it, threw it the fuck away. I was like, nope. Not making you food. She was so astounded,
awesome.
Dude. She was so astounded. Couldn't believe it. She's like, no, make my order. I'm like, no. I'm the only one there. I'm closing the store at 14. no. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Go, get out, call corporate, whoever you want. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not making your food.
I mean, it's important sometimes to like take your power back, especially when you're in like a working class job.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't
This
have a
was
lot
just
of
some
power.
fucking rich lady who just came in specifically to demean and use me. She's like,
Right.
oh, that's too much mayo. Scrape it off.
Yeah,
Just, all
You
of that
definitely get
shit.
the sense with some people when you work service that like they're literally just like getting off on like lording over the workers.
Yeah, 100%.
Like fuck those people.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. Yep. And then, she came in like 6 more times in the next couple months trying to get stuff. And the moment she come in, I'd be like, nah.
You're out.
Yeah, even with my boss there. And she was fully behind me. So that was cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got one more quote or like scene that we should talk about. The conversation surrounding the Death Star politics.
Yeah, bangers.
This is a very nerdy Star Wars conversation.
Yes.
That is probably the exact kind of conversation that nerds around the world have had in various ways. But basically, they are talking about the difference between like Star Wars, like the second one and the third one.
I think so, yeah.
Where like they blow up the first Death Star, right? In the first movie.
Yeah, and it's a fully completed Death Star.
Yeah, they're saying it's a completed Death Star. That means it's fully operational. It's a weapon of mass destruction. It's armed. It's occupied by military units and soldiers and people who are all part of it.
Stormtroopers. Yeah, full like Imperial like army.
That means
essentially.
blowing it up is like sort of within the realm of morally acceptable within like the rules of engagement of a war, right?
Yeah.
That's like a enemy combatants only.
Totally.
Yeah.
But the other one,
The second Death Star is still being built
yes,
when they blow it up,
fully under construction, huge construction project,
which means it has hundreds of thousands
if not millions.
of construction workers and like civil employees, non-military personnel, innocent people, blue collar jobs
Yes.
with families, right?
Yes.
This was occupied by like an entire city's worth of innocent bystanders,
For sure.
and they blew it up, killing everyone on board, which is seriously got to be a huge war crime.
Pretty much.
That's obviously like mass murder.
It is, but it's like the question is like, well, they're building, even if they are independent, they're building a mass murder machine. So it's like,
Right. And so then, yeah, so I think it's Randall who has the opposition. He's like, you got to understand, all these construction workers, they're there voluntarily. They know what they're building, right? So they've waived their status as innocent the moment they started building this weapon of mass destruction. And then Dante tries to rebut. He's like, you don't know that. How often does a roofer's politics come up on a job? And then Kevin Smith has someone walk into the scene. He's like, actually, I'm a roofer. I turned down a job just last month when I found out that it was a shady politician or whatever.
it was fucking a gangster, Bambino.
Yeah, the Bambino family wanted me to re-roof his house. He's like, you'd be surprised, but a roofer's politics often come into play. And I just thought that was so goddamn funny.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
That's such like a tongue-in-cheek way of like resolving the hypothetical argument.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's really perfect, honestly. Because then at that point, you've forgotten about the argument. You don't need closure to it. It's just hilarious.
It's like, oh, actually, there is a roofer and politics do come into play.
Get fucked.
And that's sort of Kevin Smith siding with one side of the argument, too. He's like, no, you can blow it up.
Yeah.
That's him saying the politics come into play.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Those people were not innocent.
Yep. Unless they're being forced.
Yeah, they could be slave labor.
They could be slave labor.
But do you really want to build a high-tech machine of that scale with involuntary labor?
Probably not.
I feel like there's
That sounds like
of
they could go
room
wrong.
for error.
Yeah, if you don't give a fuck. But then again, maybe it'll be better. It depends on how many guards you have.
You
there
heard it
watching.
here first. Austin thinks that slave labor is better than free labor.
Shit.
Got him.
Got him.
Clip that.
Clip it. Send it around. Fuck, man.
I don't have anything else in my notes.
No.
Really.
All I have to say is that I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I think this movie's really cool and pretty unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slice of life comedy, black and white, low budget is all hell.
Yeah.
Indie movie.
Yeah. True inspiration for other artists.
Raunchy, funny, sometimes semi-philosophical. Definitely worth watching. It's a movie that I think everyone should see.
Yeah.
You need it in your repertoire.
Yeah. I bet we're pretty locked in on the same score. You want to say it at the same time?
Score. I actually hadn't even thought about the score
All
yet,
right.
to be perfectly honest.
All right. Okay.
Give me just 10 seconds here. Let me do my calculations. Okay, I'll give you my score.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
8.5.
Oh, fuck. Shit. That's close enough. I'll take it.
Yeah, we're within a half point.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I mean,
It's an 8. It's in the 8.
It's for sure, yeah. It just kind of depends for me. If we're talking just writing and overall acting and just comedy value, I would agree with you. I think 8.5 for sure. But just I don't know. I'm a sucker for low budget, just for my pure entertainment. Or I'm a sucker for high budget.
Yeah,
you know,
you're a budget slut. For
budget
sure.
boy. You know.
Yeah, he's a budget slut.
I just love it. I love seeing money get wasted. I don't know. It's a little old, and it's definitely dated.
It's slow.
Yeah.
Nothing really is happening, right? It's dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
If you're a cerebral person with a good attention span, this movie will work.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you need flashy colors, sounds, action scenes, or even just movement.
Yeah.
There's scenes in this movie that are 4 or 5 minutes long with no camera movement.
Yeah, just absolute still.
Yeah. Just a tripod shot and 2 characters talking.
But it works, and you have to give it credit for that. You know, it works well. So yeah, solid 8 for me, man. It's a great movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
This
thank you
has
for.
been-
Hold on.
Well,
Don't jump the gun.
Holy fuck.
Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Please subscribe, like, comment,
You know the
share.
drill. Yeah, share with your friends and family.
Do all of that stuff so that we become famous and rich and forget about you at some point.
Yes.
We love you. This has been
Quiet in the back.
Morning haze, I guess I'll go to work. Dante opens up the store like a jerk. Randall's